is a gifted quantum physicist.
What's up, everybody? This is Proofer. Today we're going to be talking about Donald Trump, not about his politics. Y'all know where I stand on that. We're going to be talking about his intellect. Now, most people know that Donald Trump is one of the dumbest people on the planet. I felt that same way until I saw this picture. Basically, it looks like there's a bunch of physicists crowded around a table with quantum physics in the background on the chalkboard. And I'm wondering, what is Donald Trump doing here? I was so confused that I had to keep searching, and I found this image, which I find even crazier. These guys are intellectuals, you can just tell, and Trump's there with them. So I was like, what's going on? Here we got some books on his desk by Richard Feynman, the physicist. In this picture, he's holding a book by Einstein. I mean, these could be Photoshopped because they were sent to me by a viewer, but I choose to believe they weren't. Anyway, unlike other politicians, Trump's unique.
I'm not a scientist. I'm not a scientist.
I'm not a scientist.
I don't know the science behind climate change.
I'm not a scientist. I'm not a scientist.
I'm not a scientist, and I've got the grades to prove it.
Trump would probably claim that he is a scientist, and I've heard other people claim that Trump is a scientist.
Trump is a scientist.
So at that point in my research, I didn't really know what was going on. I had no leads, I just knew he was connected to physics somehow. Until I heard about his uncle. That blew my mind.
I had an uncle who was a great professor for, I believe, 40 years at MIT, and I used to discuss nuclear with him all the time.
They used to discuss nuclear all the time, whatever that means. But it wasn't until I found this clip that my mind was fully made up.
Physical systems reach thermal equilibrium through energy exchange with their environment. Yes, obviously, that is fucking basic thermodynamics. Who do you think I am? I learned that 17 years ago at MIT. You want to talk quantum? Let's talk quantum.
When I discovered the Japanese connection, shit really got weird. I stumbled across this picture, and this one has Trump with a Japanese symbol on his cadet uniform. I'm like, what the heck? And then I found him reading a Japanese newspaper on an airplane. How are you gonna read a newspaper you don't know the language of? Trump has had a weird connection with Japan for a while. Him and the prime minister get along very well. I mean, he's in their culture, and he was even the first politician ever to meet the emperor. It's kind of weird. I mean, if you even look here, the way that he draws is almost reminiscent of the ancient Japanese art of calligraphy. Although, yes, this might be a stretch, but I was looking at patterns. So I got onto these conspiracy boards and I was just looking for anybody. I went on Reddit, Facebook, you name it, just looking for anybody that might shed some light on the truth about Trump, the real truth. And, you know, I was looking for that mystery person, and I found him. So other than his uncle being a student there, what is the correlation between Donald Trump and MIT?
Mr. Donald Trump had a friend at MIT. His name was Yukio Takahama. He taught Donald Trump how to speak Japanese.
What, you're kidding?
Donald Trump is very fluent in Japanese. He turned into quite the mathematician as well. He studied with the brightest minds.
Donald Trump was studying physics with this Japanese guy, is that what you're saying, at MIT?
He studied physics and mathematics, correct, in MIT.
But he wasn't even a student on the record. So was he getting private tutoring, or?
He was being tutored on campus, so therefore, in my opinion, that makes him a student. Whether or not he paid is none of my business.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think Donald Trump is a physicist?
Trump is a physicist.
So this is actually a picture of Donald Trump with Yukio Takahama, his mentor. It was so hard to find this photo. I dug so deep for this. But this is proof right here. But the real smoking gun was when Trump met the emperor. That changed everything. Observe. They're meeting the emperor, shaking hands, exchanging pleasantries. They are speaking with one another, which, you know, look at the way Trump looks at the emperor coming up right now, and he's staring him down, and he's just waiting to say something. I thought that was weird, and I can't see what he's saying. You can't hear what he says, right? So I thought maybe I should like read his lips and see if there's any kind of connection here. So I have a friend who reads lips, and we found out it was actually in another language. It was in Japanese. Here is a reconstruction of what the actual conversation was.
ようこそ選ばれた人。私たちはこの瞬間を非常に待っていました。
こんにちは。元気ですか？
よもや私を宿から遠ざけるために。
ありがとうございました。私は日本の人々を失望させません。物理学者としての私の知識は10倍になりました。あなたが正しいと確信しています。さあ中に入って。
All right, guys, well, that's what it is. I did a lot of extensive research on this. I had no idea that Trump was a physicist. I had no idea that Trump was working with Japan. But that's what I want to put out to you guys, because I don't even know the real conspiracy. I just know that a Japanese guy trained Trump in physics, and I know that he and the emperor have exchanged some pretty heavy words together. So I want you guys to do some deep digging for me. And once again, it's Proofer. Like and subscribe. I couldn't do this without y'all. Yeah, have a safe day and a safe night.